It melts.
It is 23 degrees right now in downtown Portland, 23 degrees. We know that moisture is coming our way, so you don't have to be a meteorologist to figure out what's about to happen.
I know. You don't have to go get fancy schmancy to figure out that it's going to get pretty icy around here when you throw in the moisture on top of it. And the latest forecast models, I was talking about this earlier, giving you another look, a more updated view of what's going to happen. And the latest models are indicating that there's going to be even more juice with this system, which means even more rain. And with the cold air in place, that means the potential for more freezing rain for us. We're all going to have to wait to see how it times out as far as when the freezing rain switches over to plain old rain. But it's going to be a slow process, and it's likely going to be that we're going to have icy roads starting Saturday night from the freezing rain, continuing through most of the day on Sunday. Winter storm warnings in effect 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. for Portland metro area. They get started a little bit earlier farther south where the system will hit first. And we're going to be looking at snow developing right before the lunch hour. We may see a few flurries early in the morning, but right before the lunch hour, we'll start to see snow potentially mixing in with some sleet. But that starts to arrive in the afternoon, and it'll be tomorrow night that we see the switch over to freezing rain. And that's when things could really just get so messy around here. And of course, the winds are going to be cranking on top of all of that, especially in the gorge. This is where we're going to see the brunt of the system hit. Heaviest snow, 3 to 6 inches of snow. We're going to have ice on top of that, and then you have the wind. Winds are already gusting between 60 and 70 miles an hour in some of the heavier wind spots to the gorge, and we're going to see that wind stick around through tomorrow and through the first part at least of Sunday. A switch to freezing rain will happen on Sunday afternoon after 3 to 6 inches of snow has fallen, and we could see an inch of ice on top of that. And again, the easterly winds gusting to 65 miles an hour, so it could be very treacherous there. And then for the gorge, especially as you get east of Cascade Locks, east of Corbett, it may not thaw out for days there. So it's going to be really tough to travel through. Down south, we'll start to see the snow arrive a little earlier, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Sunday for your winter storm warning here. Brief period of snow, probably won't even see much more than a dusting here. I think we'll see more significant ice, perhaps up to a ½ an inch. So this is basically between Salem down towards Eugene. This will all be playing out through the day. I think by tomorrow night, though, we're starting to thaw things out and switching over to a plain rain, but there's the potential we could see some iciness linger into the first part of Sunday before it goes away. But here in the metro, those east winds are strong, again gusting to 20 miles an hour, and that east wind's going to keep it cold enough here to keep things icy through the day on Sunday. So watch how this plays out hour by hour. 9 a.m. tomorrow, we'll have that potential for even a little bit of a winter mix, especially for Astoria down towards Tillamook. But down between Corvallis and farther south, we're already starting to see that sleet and snow moving in. By the time we get towards the lunch hour, this is when we have that snow and sleet pushing into the Portland metro area. Same thing back towards Forest Grove, and we'll have this period between about noon and 4 o'clock that will have snow and sleet coming down to bring us perhaps between 1 and 2 inches of snow here in the metro. After that, it all switches to freezing rain, and look at all this moisture moving in. That's 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Then look at Sunday, a lot more rain moving in, and it still looks like we're going to be below freezing, so that when it hits the ground, it will be a mess. And then we're slowly transitioning to ice in the gorge as we go through the day Sunday. So snow, flurries Saturday morning, snow by noon, dusting to 2 inches if possible. Then we get ready for the freezing rain on top. Saturday night into Sunday, ½ an inch to an inch of ice. That could bring down power lines, that could bring down limbs, and of course that means power outages will be possible, and then a gradual transition to rain and a very slow thaw out for some of us in East Metro. It may not even happen until Monday morning. And then the winds tomorrow, get ready, gusting to 40 miles an hour. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast, and we're going to be looking at temperatures staying below freezing, I think, until probably Sunday night. Slowly thawing out as we head into Monday, gearing up for another wet system Tuesday, Wednesday. A cold rain here, but for the gorge, it could just keep the icy conditions going through the middle part of the next week out there. So really looking rough out that way, but be prepared to stay indoors for the weekend. It could get pretty tough around here.
Good thing that it's maybe happening over the weekend, so there's a higher chance that people can stay in. Thanks, Kristen.
Still ahead, the Blazers get a first